everybody, One Wisdom here, 12:56 a.m. Friday, March 27, 2015. Just went against my gut and I took Spotlight down the visionary path first. That's a path that I thought I was pretty sure I would like. The problem is, I'm trying to save some cash, just to have one at this point in time, not do my usual one for each path type thing I've done for several years now. And the ringer, while I knew, the final attack would look cool, it'd be kind of, I'm thinking, in line with what we saw from Blackout on his bottom path, Prince of Darkness. The middle one there, where the rings, the halos, shoot their own laser beams, that's what I was banking on being fantastic. I'm hoping that they do good damage, like the equivalent to what we do, and not like a 5 to 8 or a cheesy 10 to 15. If that's the case, we're pretty well going to have to reset. The other thing, I was hoping that the first one, I think just heavy halos, might like significantly up the damage that the rings do from 50 to 75. Weird thing is, on the visionary path with bling, you throw two at once, which isn't that big of a deal, especially since they kind of like fan out if you're trying to like shoot through them or something, or use them as a shield or something. The thing is, though, that actually upped the damage from 50 to 60. So I found that to be interesting, but we're going to come in here and take the ringer, improving our halo ring attacks, and it has got to be pretty solid to compete with the visionary path. So that right there was what we consider a pointless cutscene in the business, and I do that mainly just so it's kind of a complete video for you. So heavy halo is up first. We've got 15 wing sapphires. Keep that in mind as we upgrade here. $11.91 is the price. Halo rings are larger and do more damage. So this should hopefully work to our advantage. It's going to be a key component in evaluating this path. Let's chuck one over here and see what we got. So it is fairly bigger. Let's see what it does damage-wise. Oh yes, I'm slightly justified now, because that's doing 100. I've got Chomp Chest in there now. Jeez. He's a problem. I love the guy to death, but I left him in, I think, in the Winged Warrior path for Blackout, and he got really annoying by the end of it, so it helps when your headset cord isn't under your foot, but I wasn't planning on having to stand up either. So anyway, I'm trying to get back to my spreadsheet here, and heavy halo is going to do 100. If we ever got a critical, it would be 150. I'm also wondering if it wouldn't slow enemies down even more, perhaps, kind of like an unadvertised benefit. But let's try to shoot one and not have it hit the guy. That's good. Quigley's just in the way, as usual. So still just doing 85 out of there. Let's check it out. There's 3, 85, there's 4. That fourth one always seems to want to hover in the air. So we've got 2, 3. I think we're going through all 4 there, and it's doing 85. Something that we may not know, I wonder, I can't imagine why there wouldn't be some benefit to going through the halos. I have to wonder if an enemy walked up to them and they were chained through the I-beam, and it was like a shield for us, maybe we were positioned over here with the enemies where Persephone is. When they run into them, they were doing 50 to 75, now they'll do 100 to 150. I kind of wonder if maybe, if an enemy runs through it when it's charged like this, if it would do more damage. I don't know. I'm not sure that I'm going to showcase that, because it would basically take this from a potentially 10-minute video probably to like a 40-minute video, and I just don't have that kind of time. So that's something, if you'd like to investigate, feel free, and I'll probably do that in my own time. I don't know that that's the case, but it would be a good idea, I feel. That said, ring shot. This is kind of what I was banking on. So many times when I preferred the top path, and then I finally take the second path, like an SSA with the Series 2s and Giants and whatnot, there were so many that I thought, oh, that's kind of lame. And then statistically, attack damage-wise, they turn out to be quite superior, even though I might not enjoy them as well. Trigger Happy is a good example. The top path where you upgrade his guns, not if you discount Golden Yamato Blast, I mean, because that's ridiculous. But if you just go, 1, 2, 3 down each path. The bottom is Superior Sonic Boom with Cyan Griffin versus Media Griffin. Just lots of different instances here. This one kind of struck me as a character that might have that same setup, so that's sort of my logic there. But I'm hoping that this one lets the rings do the full 85 to 127, if not more. And if it does something cheesy like 5 to 8, it's pretty much game over as far as I'm concerned. So $15.41 is the price with our discount. Let's see what we got here. I'm just going to chuck one of them, and we will put it out over here and see what it's going to do. I thought it'd be like a sustained deal like we have. I'm sure if it was making contact every time, it would be okay. Let's see if we can manually move this thing a little closer. You can. Let's see, you've got to eventually hit him again. So it's doing 127, which is actually more than we do. That would be a funky little number, though, on the critical side. And apparently it'll last forever. It's just one of those deals, I guess if an enemy ran into it, it would kind of detonate itself after one or two hits. So 127, half of that is going to be 63.5. They don't generally round up in this game, so we can call it 63. 127 and 63 is 190. I'm hoping that we see that. I'm afraid as soon as I start typing, it's probably going to shoot one off. But that kind of gives you a feel for it. It's not what I expected. There, wow, we actually had it. So wow, 127 to 190. Let's now make this more interesting. You have to realize you're probably like, oh my gosh, that's like a 1 in 8 success rate, even when you pushed it closer. Let's see if we get it point blank range here. Oh, it'll just detonate itself. So anyway, let's do this the fun way. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4. Now we've got a freak show going on here. It almost looks like the lasers are bouncing off of each other, though. Like, I feel like this one shoots and it hits that guy, and then that deflects it down. Again, you can have 4 active. So, I mean, this... If we had, like, a field of chompies, I feel like it would be much easier to appreciate this. Can we push that off the edge? Yes, we can. That's it. Look how slow it was falling. That's pretty funny. So you get the idea, though, and then I mean, when we start doing this stuff, we get all kinds of crazy action going down, and let's see if we're doing the same damage. Did I actually hit it? Yes. We'll have to deploy another one, and it's gonna break. It didn't used to break. That's kind of new. Alright, let's just get right here.
Your next challenge awaits you, Photomaster.
Okay, so now that's like totally not sending the laser where I wanted it to go. So I'm gonna come over here and toss one. Alright, so it's still doing 85 though. I always thought eventually this would do something crazy. But that said, I mean, you get the idea. That could be a pretty nice little shield for you. So I think this is kind of a bit more defensive. But we'll come talk to Miss Persephone. And the final one here is Uplifting Experience. I know this will at least look cool. Lift enemies caught in Halo rings up with the Heavenly Aura. So I don't know if you have to like heavy Halo them, or I should say, which one was it? Dun-dun-dun. The Halo effect, basically. I don't know if that has to be in play, or if you have to have them in the aura first. We're probably going to have to go explore this one. $21.01 is the price. So I'll go ahead and grab this. There's really, I don't think, any way I could showcase that here. We'll try it, though. I'll go ahead and Heavenly Aura, and the ring, nothing. So, let's go ahead and get the Soul Gem. The Soul Gem's pretty cool. Light Dragon's what it's called. 2801, shoot a Heavenly Aura with eye beams to create light dragons who attack enemies. Price 2801. And this, you can get basically 4 dragons out of it if you're, instantaneously spawning and immediately shooting. So what I mean by that is Heavenly Aura, and then Light Beam. You'll see the 200s there. You should see it 4 times. Now I'll actually step back here so you can actually see what's going on. And there's the aura. There's the dragons. And they dash off in that direction. Let me kind of position ourselves a little better. It'd help if I quit hitting the Nintendo. But anyway, so there's that. I'm just going to try to do it one time. Well, we'll go the full cycle here. So watch the dragon. They'll dash at the enemy. That's where you see the 200. That will be 300 on the critical side. That said, we've got to leave this organized chaos and go off to Chapter 2. And we need to see what uplifting experience looks like. I think we will just breeze through this first. I guess we'll use the rings since that's this path of the ringer, and then we'll get to that second area.
First order of business. How about we unlock that door?
Right now, I think I am preferring for my play style.
Now just use that sucker to open the big door.
Visionary.
That's the ticket.
But that's not to say this is a bad path. We'll let's just shoot a ring down there.
But hey, that ought to be
And so, I mean, that'll essentially just start wrecking those things. That's exactly what it's doing. It doesn't seem to home in on the enemies, but it's getting pretty good, hit rates here. You have to realize I could also have 3 more down there. So at that point in time, things getting crazy. There's a heavenly aura. Now we've got the dragons. Yo, I can't activate it. I don't know why they're dashing that way though. I guess the melons seem more of a threat than the buzzard peaks. I can't really blame them there. And note, they are. I mean, all 4 of them are right there. Or 3 at least. So let's see if they will just kind of walk into that. Yeah, so they do blow up if they just run into them. That's something I'd wondered. I'd get that XP, but I'm thinking I'm going to be switching, sadly. So I got it wrong with both of these. I mean, neither's really a bad path with Blackout or Spotlight. It's just the way I play the game, certain things work better than others. Now, these rings, though, I don't know. That's kind of eerily similar to standing in the dark clouds, dark energy clouds, I should say, and taking half the damage. I mean, you're basically going to be able to position yourself in a very, very fortified stance, if you will. So that's something to consider. It's just it kind of comes down to personal preference. Now here we go. We're gonna heavy halo this guy, hopefully not killing him. So dang it. There's the heavy halo. It did not kill him. Doesn't seem to slow him down either. Wow, check that out. That's pretty cool. We'll do that to these trolls too.
Looks like this.
I think the halos actually killed off the rest of the enemies there, so that was pretty efficient. But now these trolls can survive a little bit more punishment than the buzzard beaks. So alright, so we're going to heavy halo these guys and then get them in uplifting experience. Which I want to say it did 60 damage. There's 100 on that. Well, dang it, that killed him. That's not good. Alright. Let's watch that top troll. 60. So let's hit this guy. And, well, it killed him too. We need someone with a little bit more durability. You, sir, are... Well, it seems to go up and do 60. So I'm gonna say 60 to 90 once they get up there. I don't know like if it'll do it multiple times or not, but it gives you a good idea of what to expect. So we will roll with that. Let me document that. Uplifting experience 60 to 90. I'll just put 60 to 90 actually. Didn't fill in halo. I think those have 4 active at once. So, pretty cool character, I have to say, Miss Spotlight. It's really hard to say what is better because it honestly comes down to what you personally prefer to do in the game. And the way I play, I kind of think being able to come in and have the heavenly aura and then shoot it and do the extra damage would be the way to go. That said, being able to pitch out all these rings and kind of have like just this infinite loop shield in front of you while you, I don't know, use, your soul gem even, you could actually set up and do that. You're still going to be able to do, the 85 to 127. Her only weakness really is that she latches on to the halo rings, and they don't do any extra damage when this is happening, which that's kind of mind-boggling to me. I kept thinking it would surely turn out to be kind of like Prism Breakish, But case in point, like say that there's enemies over here where I'm now standing, and so I've pitched out the 2 halos, I've got the defensive shield set up, we don't care about blobbers, and I start using my primary attack. As I move from enemy to enemy, she will latch onto a halo, and then in order to unlatch, I've got to actually, like physically stop pressing X. So as I'm scanning through the enemy, she could just lock in, and then you kind of got that annoyance going. But on the flip side, while you're doing that, you're going to be having those things spit out 127 damage. So it really does just, I'm so tired of that cutscene. We're getting out of here. It really does come down to your personal preference on this one. I don't think you can go wrong with either one. For me personally, though, I think Visionary suits my playstyle a little bit better. Uplifting Experience is really, really cool. It just doesn't do quite the damage as anything else does. It's lesser damage and more of like a spectacle. So if you're into that, like, hey, look what I can do, showing your friends things that are just look cool, that's the way to go with the ringer, so you can have access to that. But ring shot 127 to 190, coupled with the fact that they'll do 100 to 150 as a shield, this makes the ringer kind of a defensive path, in my opinion, with a really cool spectacle thing at the end. The flip side on Visionary, Aura Charge 180 to 270 plus the 45 to 67 you get rattled off default, and then light it up 120 to 180. That's a very significant change. And then essentially when you factor in the soul gem with that, you spawn the aura that's going to do, 45 to 67. You start shooting it with your 120 to 180. You're doing 120, 180, and then as you do that, you're going to rattle off a 200. That's just mind-boggling numbers. It's not as defensive. It's more of like a, let's just walk in here and kill everything in record time. Whereas I feel like the ringer is kind of like, hey, I'm going to sit back here, set up a defense, let the defense actually weaken and kill the vast majority, and then we'll just kind of clean up. Again, the only weakness with the ringer is just that she will latch into the halo, and you kind of have to stop spamming and, reposition yourself if you want to use that to finish enemies off. So it really, man, this one, it comes down to you and what you personally prefer. The good news is she was very easy to document, very playable down either path, in my opinion. And the soul gem is fantastic. So I'm very impressed with Spotlight. I'm gonna have a hard time taking her off of the ringer path when I reset, but I don't know. It's really one of those deals where if you've got the money, I'd recommend having 2. And you have one on Visionary and one on the ringer, because both paths are just that good, in my opinion anyway. So that said, let me know your thoughts. Which path do you prefer for Spotlight? Feel free to give your reasons. You can do that on my site, you can do that on the Skylander Club forum, or of course in the comments section. If you like this video, leave a like. Your support is much appreciated. Leave a comment, tell your friends about it, subscribe if you have not. I'd encourage your friends to do the same thing. You can follow me on Twitch, where I live stream Skylanders Trap Team. You can follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook, circle me on Google+, whichever you prefer. Once again, thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you back here for our next Skylanders Trap Team upgrade session.